to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my knowledge on what to do when you bring your hamster home for the first time. Just a good schedule to follow to create a healthy bond with your hamster. And if you're struggling with your first hamster or with this process when you first bring your hamster home, I hope this video really helps you. And anyways guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button and let's get right into today's video. First thing I need to mention is that my hamster Moose is actually asleep because it's only 6:33 and he's not up for many more hours, and I'm not going to wait that late because I am a high schooler or a student and I really just can't stay up that late and film and everything because that'll keep me up really late and that's just not good. So I will be using this hamster stuffed animal as a prop to demonstrate the hamster. I'm sorry that I can't use Moose in this video, but I'll use clips from him in the past and maybe tonight if I do film a little bit. But real quick, I also want to clarify, it really depends on where you get your hamster from. There are a lot of different places you can get your hamster from, and with that being said, I'll be making a separate video on this topic entirely. But depending on where you get your hamster from, it might come home in a cardboard box if your only option is a pet store, or it might come home in a plastic carrier depending on if you adopted it or whatever. However, it is always a good idea to bring a safe hamster travel cage wherever you're going to get your hamster. Even if you're going to a pet store because that's your only option, bring one of your plastic carriers because you should have one just for safety reasons and cleaning purposes, to transport your hamster or store your hamster in while you're cleaning their cage. So make sure you bring one just in case they try to chew out of the box, or if you have the option to keep them in a more comfortable container such as a plastic carrier, because hamsters, especially Syrian hamsters, are known to chew through pet store cardboard boxes because they love chewing through things, and when they're stressed they're going to chew even more trying to get out of this little box. So that's a little tip that I definitely want to share with you guys because that's part of this process and it's really important. When you bring your hamster home, it's really important to limit handling and stressing your hamster out. Again, this depends on the situation. So for me, when I got my hamster, he was already tame because I got him from an ethical hamstery. So I did pick him up right away to put him in his cage because I knew he wouldn't mind. But if it's a new stressed out hamster from a place where it isn't tame or it's been neglected in the past, make sure that you limit handling. And really, regardless of all that, you shouldn't be passing your hamster around to people because hamsters are high stress animals and you should limit that. So when you bring them home, keep them in their travel cage. Have their cage already set up when you go and leave to get the hamster, so you don't have to do something and leave them in their travel cage for an unnecessary period of time. And then that way you can just immediately put them in their cage to let them settle in. Another thing I would recommend to do is to take a little bit of toilet paper and rub it all over your skin to get your scent onto it. This is the first step to bonding, and I'll probably mention this again in my bonding video and taming video, but this is just going to get them used to your scent because this is a safe nesting material that they can properly digest, unlike cotton fiber and cotton fluff. And this is something that they can use to create a cozier nest with your scent on it, meaning they'll be sleeping around your scent, so they'll get really comfortable with you without even having to be handled by you. And with this toilet paper, you can just scatter it around their cage and put it where you want them to nest because they might nest in it more likely, like maybe under this corner hide, I would put it in there, or just lay it anywhere around the cage. And you also, obviously, with setting up a cage before getting your hamster, you also really want to make sure you have plenty of food, forage, treats, and water all ready to go, and so that they can eat if they're comfortable, and if they're not, they have it as an option. A lot of hamsters, when you first bring them home, aren't going to be hungry or thirsty because they're stressed, and they'll just go and find some place to sleep, or they'll be like stressing out, smelling all the new smells. And it's a really great idea if you have any of their old bedding to sprinkle that in around their cage, and then also where you want them to nest again, just to create familiar scents to lower the rate of stress that is probable. You can either use a mug like this to gently cup up your hamster and put them into their cage without stressing them out with handling if they're not used to it, or you can use their travel cage and let them come out on their own. Either way, that is a better idea than trying to pick them up if they're uncomfortable with it and creating a bad experience right off the bat with them. Another thing to mention is just using the mug or cup method for a while. just to get them used to the feeling of being lifted before you ever take them out of their cage, but I'll include that in the bonding taming video. This is just for when you first bring them home, how to let them settle in properly. Another good step to remember is make sure that you leave your hamster to settle in for at least 2 to 3 days or longer until they are comfortable in their environment before trying to handle them. So basically just limit your contact with them to just taking care of them, like giving them water and fresh food when needed. And if they're not used to veggies because you got them from a place that didn't give them like proper veggies all the time, then you want to make sure you slowly wean them onto fruits and vegetables that are obviously hamster safe. There are lots of forums online with safe and unsafe vegetables and fruits and just foods in general that you can check out. But I think the most important thing is if they're on a different food, maybe an unhealthy food at the place you rescue them from or adopt them from, to make sure that you slowly also wean them off of that, because they have not well studied digestive systems, and you do just want to be nice and slow and steady with how you get them used to their new lifestyle. So yeah, make sure you always provide lots of clutter and hiding that makes sense in a cage so that they have plenty of places to hide and not feel like they're out in the open, to also reduce common stress behaviors and stress related illnesses that are pretty much correlated with hamsters. And of course, another really important thing to mention is the amount of time you wait to start handling them should really depend on where you get them from. For example, Moose only needed 24 hours to settle in because he's used to human contact. I got him from an ethical breeder, and if a hamster is used to human contact, you do not want to give them a long period of time to settle in without any human contact, because then they're going to be confused, especially if they're a pup, like a Syrian hamster pup, because they're still in developmental stages, meaning they are used to a human in their cage. But if you don't do that and you give them, like, let's just say 7 days without any human contact, then they're going to get used to not having human contact and could become cage aggressive or just really shy and timid and lose their personality. So if they are used to human contact already, like they already had an owner that had them tame and bonded or bonded to them, but now you just need to bond them to you, make sure you handle them in the first 48 hours. Like, let them settle in for 24 hours or a day or two and then handle them. But otherwise you can leave them for 3 days to get used to all the new scents and get cozy in their new home, and then you can slowly start the bonding and taming process, which will be a separate video as I've stated. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this short video, basically an introduction to what to do when you first bring your hamster home, when you adopt them. Basically just make it a smooth, quiet process for the benefit of the hamster. Hamsters are not going to like you handling them or letting them run around or do anything crazy like that when they're not used to you. So let them settle in for 1 to 3 days. Some people say weeks and stuff, but I think as long as they have, well, I know that as long as they have up to 2 to 3 days, if they're just a hamster from a source where they don't have any previous handling, that is perfect. 4 days maybe if they've went through a traumatic experience when you got them or something like that. But really just feel it out. And if you have any other questions as well for your specific circumstance with your new hamster or something like that, go ahead and comment them down below and I can answer you to the best of my abilities to try and help you in your situation, because I do have a good amount of experience with hamsters and I love sharing it and helping new hamster owners. So yeah, just make sure you comment down below. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys.